Welcome to our continuing series, Interviews with Disciples and Devotees. Today, we are happy to have Shyam Kumari back with us. Namaste. And please tell us about some of the older ashramites.
The oldest, almost the oldest, maybe two people came earlier than Nulnida. That was one 14-year-old Suresh Chakravarti. He came with Sri Aurobindo's letter to Pondicherry, and Vijay Nag accompanied Sri Aurobindo. After that, I think Nalnida joined them. So I was very lucky to get a chance to serve him, to come close to him. I will like to show my gratitude to him by talking and disclosing things which are unknown. First thing I want to tell you that when I came here and when Nalnida accepted me as his personal attendant for a few months in 82, Animadi was ill. And I was there from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. to attend upon him. So I used to see he was bare-bodied because in that last year he didn't walk out of his room. He was only bed-bound. So his great tapasya. Ashram would have done anything for Nalnida. AC, toilet, he refused everything. He kept one commode beside his bed, and on the other side he would take bath on a wooden chair and rest of the time on his bed. Till the last day he ate with his own hands, and every day he took a bath. But when his hand shook, then aprons were needed, and laundry was very proud to do so much washing. He was meticulously clean. So every meal a new apron. But what apron? Narad, you will not believe. I gave away one yesterday. And next time, if you have a next time, I will bring one of his aprons.
Wonderful.
Because he followed everything to the letter, what mother said. And mother has said, things which have served us faithfully should be used as long as they are usable. And this usable should be strict. So, Bengalis put oil before bath. So he put some oil before his bath on that chair. Some 2 buckets of water was brought from outside. 3:30 a.m. he would take his bath. The water will flow through his outer office to the meditation hall and go out through the drain. And Animadi would dry everything before ashram door was open. Nobody knew. I'm telling his extreme tapasya. Then, so that oil he put before the bath or was rubbed on his body, the towel became so hard, knotted with the oil. When it became impossible to wipe the body with that towel, he got aprons made out of that. And there were patches, and there were holes, and everything he used till it could be used in any way. In this connection, do you remember mother and that mother's lap cloth, that incident? No, it's one of the most touching things. Mother used to put a lap cloth spread because we Indians, 1,000 people put their head on her lap and we oil our hair. So her dresses got stained with oil. So she used to put a lap cloth. Now, when people came to know some mother uses something, they all want to make that. So there were hundreds of lap cloths made and offered to her. One lap cloth had so many patches on it and so much darning that there was hardly any original cloth left. So one day, Datta, Dorothy Hodgson, she said, Mother, now there is nothing original in this, only patches. And I have some of the mother's things. I'm very lucky to have things of Mother, Aurobindo, Nalnida, with patches, with darning. So let me keep it away. And she folded it and put it on a shelf. And Mother just got up and she said, What? It has served me so faithfully, now you want me to discard it. And there were hundreds of lap cloths or dozens of them. But because it has served her, she used it even when it was almost unusable. And same thing with Nalnida. He used everything till it was, I wouldn't call it reasonably usable, but his usable went to the extreme. Next time I will show you some of, one apron is left with me. I had 3 of his aprons. Secondly, what he did, that his clothes to dry, just they stretched a rope over his cot, a little higher, and they were dried there. His tapasya you cannot imagine. There was one lady, Nirmaladi. Mother gave her the charge of serving lunch to Nalnida. Due to blood pressure, low blood pressure, some green things were given to him, like cucumber sliced or tomato, some such thing. So she asked some devotee to give some money, because in those days ashram was very poor, very frugal in everything, to buy some apples or oranges for Nalnida. Nalnida got so angry. He took that money from her, 500 or something, I don't remember exactly, because I became close to her also through Nalnida. So she told me everything. So he sent it to the banker as an offering to the mother. Then Nirmaladi got furious. She went and reported it to the mother. Then mother asked Ravindra in charge of fruit room to supply him with an orange and apple whenever possible. I have seen him bringing in a basket several times. Then Nalnida's room, you see on this side it opens to the east, on that side to the north. In the afternoon it became hot like an oven, and Nalnida would not use a fan. Only in 93, when he became 93, in the last 1.5 years or 2 years, now my figures will be approximate, and I can't remember, but not more than 2 years of his life, when this Nirodha, Dr. Dilipda, and there was one doctor, I forget his name.
Bisht?
Huh?
Bisht?
No. Bisht was not. They came as a team every day, twice, to examine Nalnida. That's much after mother left her body. Then they insisted, and over his protests, they put a ceiling fan. Only last 1.5 years. Before that, Nirmala Di, in the last few years, she got money from somebody. Nobody had any money in those days, all ashramite. Now we are all flush with money. Ashram is, but there are at least hundreds of ashramites who don't have money to buy even a chappal. Even now. Just now, it's personal thing. I don't want an old disciple. Let me tell an incident about him. He is a simple man and he was a sadhu. And a sadhu in a sect who wore only loincloth of bark made with tree bark when he was 15, 16. Then he came here. Even now he wears saffron robe, shirt. So once this simple sadhak, he had this ambition, when I march past on darshan day, I must have a wristwatch. Very simple man. But all the money he could gather, 20 rupees more were needed to buy a wristwatch. In those days, a wristwatch was 30, 40 rupees. And one day he was standing in front of opposite Madhav Pandit's office and looking at the mother's room, and suddenly Amrita came out and asked him, "You needed 20 rupees?" and gave him 20 rupees. He had not told anybody, leave aside writing, but she knows everything. So, like this, I have hundreds of stories of 500 people. So this man, just I give him some money every month now. He's a little younger than me, must be 80. So some needs are there with the body deteriorating, and mother can't send 20 rupees like that. She sends through others. So he started weeping. I give him a little money every month. So our Nirmala Di asked some visitor, before that ceiling fan, when Nalida was 80 maybe, and bought a tiny table fan. Nalida didn't want her to go and report to mother again, so he didn't protest. But when she came to serve lunch, she was there for half an hour or 45 minutes, she would switch on the fan. Nalida accepted. As soon as she left, he would switch it off. And he used a hand fan, this made of coconut, those round things. And sometimes with the audacity, I should say, of a youngster, I would take his fan from his hand and fan him. Nimisha, he never allowed me more than 2 minutes. He will take it back. Now you see there is quite a big bed for him. But previously the bed was only this much. So in trance at night he was falling down. That's why this bigger bed with all four sides was made. And another thing about this is this, that at night there was a great danger that if somebody didn't hold his hand, his soul will leave the body. Somebody had to keep a link from earthly consciousness to his consciousness. So one side of the bed, those things which you have seen three sides, the fourth side would be lowered, and there was a bench this broad. Along on that, Animadi slept whole night holding his hand for years. And on the floor he slept, four of these cavaliers of mother, that is Swadhinda, Montuda, these brothers, 4 brothers in that small room, they had the privilege of sleeping on the floor. That's how his consciousness was kept on the earth. And he wouldn't take. I wanted to give him some things to make his life a little easy. I had no money in those days, but I'm a good beggar. So I thought, if I ask anything for Nalida, my family, your family, you, anybody would give. But we wanted to put an AC, totally refused. And do you remember Amritada's office? You go there now.
Yes.
There is a wooden partition with cupboards inside. That was Amrita's bedroom. And in that, the space is this much. So a bed was put in half and a toilet was put in the wall. In that office. And that's how we lived. Amrit. But Nalida refused to get a toilet made. They could have made in his outside his room where cupboard is. And he just managed with that cupboard. So in the evening I had the privilege of being there, and he lay only with dhoti, no upper cloth. And I used to see a small knot of flesh, a growth on his chest, and it gave me some, a revulsion. Then I came to know that when as a boy of 14, he wrote his oath of allegiance, revolutionary's oath. They had to sign it with their chest's blood. So Nalida didn't do it a prick like doctors do. He pushed a knife inside with so much force that so much flesh came out. They were the heroes. That flesh hardened, remained whole of his life.
Did he speak to you at all? Did he speak to you?
Yes, we had lots of. With me, he was laconic. With Anil Banerjee or Anil Mukherjee, he talked and talked and talked. But I had many. I was guided with him, by him, saved by him. Even when I went to Jipmer, I was admitted to Jipmer 5 times. Once he came to see me there, Jipmer. But Suresh Joshi, who accompanied him, is a simpleton, he could not find the room. So he came back. Another time I was very ill. From Jipmer, they brought me to our Trezor nursing home. I told the doctor, send me to the ashram, send me to the ashram. So the doctor in charge, I forget his name, his 2 children were my students also in our school. He was head of medicine in Jipmer. He came and reported to Nalida about me. I came to know later on. He took so much personal interest. So I used to tell him, send me back to ashram, send me back to the ashram. He would say, I will send you. And when he reached the door with 10 or 12 student doctors following him every day, he would say, next week. From there, that was his joke. One night, he came to Nalida and said, tonight we might not be able to keep her, means me. I was critical. And that is not concerned later on what happened, but he saved me. I was brought, when I was out of danger, I was brought to our Trezor nursing home. And there he sent, in those days he could not climb the stairs. And this is, Trezor didn't have a lift and I was on the first floor. So he sent Anil Mukherjee to inquire about my health. Then I told Anilda, tell Nalnida, neither I can stand back from the disease, nor I can fight it. Then Nalnida said, tell her she will be able to do both. Then something, every step in Pondicherry is a miracle, life. I was a very optimistic person. Not optimistic, full of life. So I may weep, but I never gave up. And as I told you before, Nalida said, things which have happened to you do not happen in this ashram. Bear as it is your karma, bear it as quietly as you can. Every day was a crisis of highest. You can't imagine, for 3 years I lived in a house on the first floor without water, with a son, 8-year-old son, and no bathroom. A toilet was there, no bathroom. 3 years without water, no money, no mattress. You can't imagine. So, and they gave me on top 16 hours of work. So, I had hepatitis B due to a transfusion of blood, which was contaminated. And so I was in Jipmer. And then when I came back here, they put me in Tresor nursing home. I have told you all this just now.
Yes.
They put me in a room which had a cupboard with the dresses of patients. And there were a few old issues of Reader's Digest. And I just could not understand. First thing, I didn't know that I was critically ill. Mother withheld it. People came and told me, but I didn't realize that I was critical. But I could not understand why I was so depressed, why I could not even sit. And then amongst those Reader's Digest, I picked up one. Hard to stand, but when I went to toilet, I picked out. The first article was WHO, World Health Organization, on hepatitis B. And this first symptom was devastating depression. And then I understood that it is due to the disease.
Were you there when Nalini left his body?
Nalida?
When he left his body?
Yes, I was outside his room, he's standing there. And in the afternoon when I came from his school, I had a call from within to go and see him. But I didn't go, though our Bala, Arvind Bala was with him for 1 hour. When I went at 4 o'clock, I stood outside, the doctors were inside, Nirodha, Dilipda, and then he passed away. And then they brought out his pillows and lay him flat, like that. So, Nalida's tapasya was such that you cannot imagine. If you gave him some things, he would just return them. Once he was very ill. Everything has to be connected with the mother for Nalida to accept it. So there was a lady, I won't name him, and she was a bit not very, she left the ashram later on. So in those, nowadays Pondicherry has apples and oranges and pomegranates on every corner. Then it was very difficult to get fruits out of season. At one time, Nalida was not eating anything. So I thought if we can get from some 5-star hotel in Chennai. See, he passed away in 84. So let us say it is 1982. So far back. This lady was going to Chennai. So I requested her, buy some fruits, apricots, peaches, oranges were available here. He might, just to attract his appetite. He might like to eat a little bit of that. So she brought, and she didn't take money from me. I had that much of money, 100, 200 rupees to give for fruits. Nalida asked, who brought these? With a serious face. Then I had to tell him. He said, don't ask people to buy things from outside. They do not have the mother's consciousness. And he took very simple food, ashram food, and Reg, Uncle Reg. You remember Reg?
Very well.
He used to make soup for Nalida. Then I learned from Reg, and sometimes I made things for Nalida. I had the good fortune. He ate one teaspoonful of, fried chivda every day. 1 teaspoon. So I made, and for him, I had the privilege to make something sometimes. Otherwise, he took only ashram food, ashram bread. His wife, Indulekha Di, was a very fine cook, renowned cook. And she lived with her sons, 2 of her sons, Robida and Manjuda. And his brother's wife, Pratibhadi, she also lived with her sister-in-law. She was a widow. So one day I asked Pratibhadi that Indulekha Di cooks such beautiful things, tasty things. Why don't you send some chapati or puri or luchi for Nalin? He said he doesn't like. From his own family, he wouldn't take it. They cooked every day. Meals for themselves. He wouldn't take it. In this, Nalida, I can tell you 100 stories. Just now a beautiful story I remember. It will tell you about what Pondicherry is, what Aurobindo and mother's compassion is. So Nalida had a brother whose son and wife lived in Calcutta. They had 2 little children, 1 girl, 1 boy. The boy was named Pratim. The girl is married to Gautam Chatterjee. I forget her name. Now I am forgetting names. So she came on a visit. Nalida's nephew, his wife, Nalida's brother's nephew, wife, they came with 2 children. On an impulse, Bengali ladies always wear golden bracelets. She took that her bracelet. It is sort of, for married ladies, it's a must, like your wedding ring of Christian. She took it and wrapped it in a paper and sent it to the mother. Now on that paper, the mother wrote that both her children are admitted in the school. She was aghast. They had come only for a few days. And he was working there. His name was, I forget. So anyway, Mohit, I think Mohit, but I'm not sure. So it was decided that he will go back and the wife and children will live here. So mother was living. She had made it clear that she doesn't like servants to bring food because their consciousness, she said, at home their children are starving and they bring tiffin full of milk and everything, and also their consciousness is very low. So she never allowed servants inside the dining room. Washing and everything is done there. So when this became public, Nalinida's wife Indulekha, she was quite old and infirm to go to dining room. And Manjuda and Robida, they were so busy, can't leave their classes to go and fetch lunch, because lunch is given at a certain time for home, tiffin carrier service. Anyway, so this boy, Pratim, his brother's grandson, he was 8 or 10, he started getting her lunch from dining room. Then this boy was very fond of dogs. When the mother suddenly admitted them, they got a room, a single room for 3 of them to live somewhere near a sports ground. And from there, in those days, ashram door opened at 4 o'clock, not 5 or 4:30. And she came all alone to make garlands for Samadhi and work at Samadhi. And the children were at home asleep. And there were so many drunkards on the way. She was very afraid, but she came. In those days, Pondicherry was not as bright or well populated as now. Then this boy, his name Nalnida gave Pratim, but he was called Toto. So Toto wanted to have a dog. Then his mother, Sumitra Di, she was in charge of Samadhi decorations for decades, 3-4 decades. She said, look, morning I go out at 4 o'clock. You wake up, you go to school, corner house, 6:45, 7:15. Then we come in the afternoon for half an hour or so. Again we go out. Then you come back at night after school and group. Then whom? The dog will be all alone. The boy understood this fact, so he didn't insist. But while he started fetching, he grew a little, he started fetching the lunch for Indulekha. A street dog followed him. And being a dog lover, he started giving him a slice. So there was a bond, and the dog would follow him to their one-room house near a sports ground. It's something very important, I am telling you, it's a bit long. And they became very friendly. So he started living with them. And when Sumitra Di came at 4:30, he would run with her, escort her to the ashram gate, never entered the ashram. Then go back with her. When the children came to school, he will escort them. Then go back. Sumitra Di came and worked in dispensary. Whole 8, 10, 12 hours she worked, back and forth. And he was so... Have you seen dogs salivate? This dog, because there was only one room, a mother will give food first to her children. For lunch, when she served the food to her 2 children, he sat with his back to the dining table. When he heard the sound of his dish and bowl, then only he turned round. So like this, they were growing, and he sat in front of the school gate waiting for the children to come out. And they had grown up, and the girl who was older had a boyfriend, Gautam Chatterjee, a good builder. He makes beautiful buildings.
I know Gautam.
You know that?
Oh, yes.
Huh. So he was coming on his scooter. The boy was sitting outside the school gate. It was just going to be 4, a little before 4. He had all the children of his school loved that dog. Now there are so many, but then there was only one. named Santulal. Toto had named him Santulal, the dog. And he never took anything from any child except Toto. Or his sister, I forget name, Gautam Chatterjee's wife. So he heard the sound of his scooter coming from Golkund Road. They can hear much more now. And he at once ran to greet him and came under a car, was crushed by a car. And many children came running to Toto, Toto, Santulal is dying, is dead. He ran. Some had come out, some were coming out 4 o'clock. He ran there. So he was in the dying, the teeth were getting clamped. He forced open to put some water. He was only 10. He didn't know what to do, all the children. And the teeth clamped on his finger and he was bit. Oh, dog bite, they took Toto to Dilipda. Dilipda said, Golkund to dispensary, only 1 block, 2 blocks. He said, first we will watch the dogs, then we will start the course, anti-rabies. By that time, children came and told Toto he is dead. So Toto went to the ashram. His mother, Sumitra Di, you know where they give incense sticks? Then she with her group sat there in front of boiler room and they wove garlands for next day for 3 hours. Now they have shifted in front of prosperity because it was getting blocked. So she was making garland with her whole group of ladies and Toto came inside shouting, Dadu, Dadu means grandfather, to Nalini's room. And Sumitra Di said, I have never seen anybody shout inside the ashram like that, full throat. He was 10, 12. And my hand clenched Sumitra Di. And he went straight to Nalini's room. Yes, Nalini was in bed. It was 82 or 83. He didn't sit. And he cried, Dadu, Santulal has died. He sat near Nalini. Nalini put his hand on his head. All grief left Toto. He became totally quiet. And then Nalini said something for which I am telling you this story. He was a great soul, Santulal. Great souls are coming to Pondicherry as cats and dogs to exhaust whatsoever little karma is left. If they come as human beings, they will have to live 80, 90 years. As dogs and cats, they will be able to die in a few years. So, Sri Aurobindo has made Pondicherry so sacred that all the dogs and cats, these are great souls. And Pondicherry dogs, cats, they never chase each other. I have seen several times cats sitting near the legs of dogs. And in the school I had a class in veranda. From there I could see a sloping roof over this art room in a school. I saw hundreds of times pigeons sitting on cats. They never kill. Sri Aurobindo's influence. And today the cats and dogs in Pondicherry, there are 36,000 cats and dogs. They are so well fed that unless you give them chicken, they won't eat ordinary rice. Even the crows, unless it is curd rice or milk rice soaked, They won't. Sri Aurobindo is taking such good care of all the animals and birds. 10 years before, if some rice is left, I put it on the pavement. Cats and crows ate it. Now, no. So much biryani they get from dog, cat lover, but they need fancy food. They won't take ordinary. See all the dogs, what a fleece they have. So Pondicherry, in this connection I want to tell you, once Nalida told me, actually I am bringing out the importance of Pondicherry. Once Nalida told me that one parikrama you take a round, that is called parikrama. One parikrama of a sports ground will give greater merit than going to all the pilgrimage places of the world. Oh, my mother, I took her to a sports ground. It's not allowed, but she took a parikrama there, inside. Outside there are habitations, there is no place. So this is, one day, this you must have read about Mrityunjay's sister. You don't remember. There was a sadhak, Mrityunjay Da. His sister, some people just came because their families are here to find shelter, or they have no faith. So this lady had his sister had no faith, was a very ordinary person. Then when anybody died here and mother was informed, she would come in her subtle body to see the dead. And then when she saw this lady, Sri Aurobindo's symbol golden was glowing on her forehead. And mother said, "What? On this? This is in Champaklal speak."
Yes.
And then she heard Sri Aurobindo's voice, "Henceforth, whosoever dies in Pondicherry,
Yes.
I will take straight to my plane." And in this aspect, I would like to tell the story of my school teacher. I come from a very special city, most backward then. But at least 10 people from my school and street are ashramites. From one school. And not connected with each other. We didn't know each other. Hero of homeopathic, who gives, a lady, she makes medicine at Debu's place.
Debu's place, yes.
Hero. They lived 1 block away from our house. 4 sisters, 2 brothers, parents. Mother called them here. Then there was a teacher in that school. Hero's mother was friend with my kindergarten teacher. And when I settled here, she came here, and I came to know that she is a disciple of the mother, and she has thousands of receipts with mother's signatures which she got bound, because she got a salary of 10 rupees in those days, and out of that 1 rupee she would send to the mother, or 2 rupees, and all those she kept and got bound. So when she came here in maybe 80, and I was already in ashramite for 12 years, naturally we met. And so when she came to know of this, she said, "Ask Nalida, even if visitors die here, will Sri Aurobindo take them?" So Nalida said yes. Then she made me ask once again, and Nalida got a little irritated. He said, "I don't know." Anyway, she got a pension of only 200 rupees. She could not afford dining room food. They lived in the veranda of a sadhak and cooked their own meal, simple rice and she had got a letter from her home that government has increased the pension to 500 rupees. This 1980, 500 rupees was enough. Then, but you have to come and sign the papers. She had come forever, living on one meal, living in the veranda of Shyam, what is it? Urmila of mother's room, her husband. His full name I forget, Shyam. He worked in the eye department. In their veranda, those two ladies took shelter. Within 7 days, she left her body here. She didn't go back. Her ticket was bought because Aurobindo has promised he will take. After that, I phoned her sons. They came after 10-15 days. Shyam Kumar, Urmila's husband, Urmila, Shyam Kumar, myself, and Hero. We took her for cremation and kept her ashes in a small pot. When her sons came, Nalida told them she is very happy there. Nalida knew her very well because for say 20 years she was sending offering and coming every year. So just like that she left her body. Nalida used to tell me, the secret is not to go out of Pondicherry. That's why for the past 50 years, except when I was admitted to Jipmer, which is Pondicherry virtually, I have never left Pondicherry since 24th December 1968. The day I came finally, mother accepted us on 22nd January and gave work in the school. Myself, my sister, we had conspired and run away from home. Otherwise, nobody would have let us come. So Nallidas, see, sometimes he could go back and forth in time. So his attendant Animadi, when he was Satyakam, the great Rishi Satyakam Jabala, Animadi was his mother Jabala. So sometimes he would start behaving like a child. He could go any past or future, all the 3 times he traveled. So many things about him. But I wanted to, one thing he said, the secret is not to go out of Pondicherry. He has given me so many insights. I have written somewhere and I wanted to tell you, but I could not find. 1 or 2 political things I want to tell you. Very important things. One thing, once Chow Lai came here and whole of India was agog. Hindi, Chini, Bhai, Bhai. And you remember Suresh Joshi, he took mother's letters to Sadhu. He came, he was very enthusiastic and told Nalida, Chow Lai has come. Nalida said, never trust the Chinese. And see, after that was what they did in later. Then another thing, Nalida, Indira Gandhi came very close to the mother. And she visited the mother. Nandini Satpathy, the chief minister of Odisha, she brought Indira Gandhi. You have seen the photograph.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Later on, after mother's passing, she came again. But before that, I will tell you a very important story about That's Udar's story. Udar made 4 tapes for me. I have this tape. I kept back, didn't give to Gauri. Told her a lie that I have given you all. So in that, though I have never listened to it, it must be spoiled now. Mother, in those days, Sanjay Gandhi, Indira's younger son, is slated to be her successor. He was very radical and he started forced family planning operations for Muslims near around Delhi, Meerut, etc. And because they increased so much, then there was great criticism against him. Mother sent Udar with a message to Indira Gandhi, take care of your sons. Nobody knows it. Sons. So when Udar took it, I think she thought that mother is talking about this sterilization operations, etc. And she was annoyed, I have heard. Indira Gandhi. Then after some time, some months or week, he died in this plane accident. Then Udar went again. There were hundreds of people who had come to come on that sad occasion. And he was also standing. And she came out, looked at everyone. She couldn't meet everyone. But she looked at Udar with very sad eyes. Then she understood why mother had told, take care of your sons. So people thought the story has stopped there. But it went further. That's me. I used to wonder, mother never spoke one letter, one word extra. Why did mother say, take care of your sons? Capital. Plural. No one else noticed or bothered about it. When Rajiv was murdered, then I remembered.
Yeah.
So Nalida used to tell about Indira Gandhi that Indira's mind and my mind are one. But in emergency, the atrocities became too much. Nalida accepted that it became too much. But he loved Indira so much that Indira Gandhi was imprisoned. There was a Shah commission. You remember? And she wrote a letter to Nalida, I don't want to fight. I want to give up. Nalida wrote back, my daughter, you must fight, and I invoke the mother's power for your victory. And then she came back with that stunning majority. But then the thing, when she came after mother's passing to ashram, and Nalida kept his door was open at night. There were 5 bodyguards sleeping in his room, Montu, Swadesh, Swadhin. And Nalida said, you can come to my room any time at night. But then what happened? During Bangladesh war, mother concentrated, got an enlarged map of Bangladesh made by students, and she was concentrating on each battlefield. So, at that time, all the news were taken to her. She was following all the details. So Nalida used to say Bhutto did only one good thing, that he spared the life of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So that night he was flying back, Sheikh Mujibur, from Karachi or Lahore, wheresoever he was imprisoned, to Dhaka, at night, 12 o'clock, there was a huge, many million of people came. There was a meeting at Ramlila ground where Mujibur Rahman and Indira Gandhi addressed the public, and Mujibur Rahman announced the formation of Bangladesh. Morning, Nalini Dad took this news to mother. Mother was shocked. She said 3 times in French, "Pas la fédération, pas la fédération, pas la fédération." Not a federation, not a federation. And that day, both of them, this is my surmise, this is not what Nalnida told me, that both of them went out of the ambit of grace, and that's why both of them were murdered. Because they were given the divine charge to make a federation, to hasten the ultimate undivided India seen by India, which will be surely one day. These political things I remember because hardly anybody knows in the ashram, and those who knew have passed away. For example, in the book, that beautiful book about Udar, they have not mentioned any of these things. And maybe they don't even remember Gauri, etc. His daughter, wife is dead. I remember because I do these things. So yesterday I was telling myself, I must put these few politically important things.
Very good.
So that they become a part of the treasure you are collecting.
Thank you, Shyam Kumari. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.